a young person, a young individual in their early 20s coming into one of our prisons. They've got an indeterminate sentence, so you'll know about these sentences. So we have IPP sentences that go on for ever and ever and ever and ever, and they're, we've had loads of issues with people where those don't get overturned. And just to say, I'm sure people know this, but neurodiverse people are massively overrepresented in IPP sentences. They're hugely overrepresented. So this was a person who'd been sentenced at 16. They had come from living in a group home with other children. They'd experienced lots of domestic violence. There'd been loads of family challenges. Mum had struggled to cope. All their siblings were placed in care. No diagnosis, because common to many of the people we see, chaos had reigned in their lives, so everything was all about kind of dangerous home life, getting them into a safe space, and then behaviour that feels like it was responding to being in care and everything that had happened in the early days. There was a diagnosis on record for emotionally unstable personality disorder. Sometimes a neurodiverse condition feels like it's been missed entirely because of the chaotic, traumatic experiences that a person has had. And it can be just really difficult to pull that apart. This person had been treated with medication, quetiapine, for hearing voices. So it's an antipsychotic that's been used, but it got stopped when the voices ceased because people thought that it was anxiety and not psychosis. They'd been struggling with understanding the rules in the improved premise, and that had led to recall. For people on IPP sentences, indeterminate sentences, recall, it's almost impossible to stay out of prison. There are lots and lots of reasons you might get recalled. And I suspect that that's why some of our neurodiverse people don't get off them, because it's not just that you need to prove to parole that you're ready for release, it's that you need to stay out and stick very firmly to quite restrictive conditions that if you don't understand them properly, it's really easy to breach them. So this person had moved between prison to prison to prison to prison with a long history of not being released without proper neurodiversity or mental health support. We contacted the family to understand the childhood history, to find about their emotional struggles. We referred to mental health team for voice, hearing and anxiety concerns. We started our work. So we started ADHD assessment, we started working on anxiety and ADHD so that we could deal with what the needs were whilst finding out whether or not we thought ADHD was relevant. While we're doing our assessment, we start to notice that this person's quite rigid. They're really struggling with the questions. They seem to be really, really concrete in their thinking. And so we start to think that maybe autism is something that we should also consider, and we go through that diagnostic process and we confirm ADHD and autism by the end of our process. And we start to shift the process from looking at anxiety to looking at autism-specific support strategies and anxiety relating to neurodiversity. And we start to tailor the support to social understanding and emotional management and all the things that might be more relevant to that diagnosis. This information is shared with parole, sentences reconsidered, and it leads to a favourable outcome. And this person is finally released with a comprehensive care plan, and their support is properly defined to the community, looking at the support they'll need to stay out this time round.